about another red card, shall we?
Yeah, that's what I
want to hear your argument.
I want to hear your argument.
Well, listen, my argument is, right, I think you can tell often in football whether something is a red card, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a handball, whether it's a foul, by the body language and the reaction of the players. Now, you look at the Southampton players after Anthony Taylor had come over to the monitor and he overturned the yellow and he'd upgraded it to a red for Casemiro. They were almost apologising and consoling Casemiro. I think they felt it was harsh. Now, listen, I can see why it's given, because you can argue that he's out of control. You've described it, Darren Ambrose, very dramatically as a leg breaker.
Not dramatically.
I think he's grazed Alcaraz's shin.
He's grazed the ball.
Yeah.
He's grazed the ball and then
hit
he's hit
his
the
shin.
But is
shin.
it not his momentum that has forced him to follow through on the
I don't think
player?
there was malice in it. So
No,
when you look
agreed.
at it, I don't think there was malice in that. And that's a different argument. So he's unlucky because he makes contact with the ball, grazes the ball, the top of the ball, and then follows through into his shin, which therefore I say with Ambrose, it could have broke his shin. So malice is a different thing. He was unlucky enough that his momentum took him in to the player's leg, and it's a red card. That's on my... I think it's a red card. I get what you're saying, and of course it's Man United, so you're going to say it the way you are. But listen, I think it was a red card.
I think the harshness in the situation is the 4-game ban, because, as you said, there's no malice in it. So I think to pick up 4 games is harsh, but that's the rules, that's the laws of the game. It's his second red card, isn't it? And he gets a 4-game ban for it.
Erik Ten Hag has been speaking about it. No doubt we'll hear from him throughout the course of the evening. He was saying that it's the inconsistency of decisions that he finds difficult to stomach. And this is a classic point, because the VAR was the same on-field referee as in Chelsea-Leicester yesterday, and there were some nasty challenges in that game that didn't go punished via a red card. The same official suddenly gets himself in the VAR room and he's encouraging Anthony Taylor to produce the red card.
That's probably a reason as well. He's probably got a bit of a telling off yesterday for missing those challenges, and then today he doesn't want to miss the challenges, and that's potentially, so it's worked against Manchester United.
So he's made Casemiro the scapegoat for the fact that he didn't have a very good game
he hasn't,
yesterday.
because it's a red card.
Because it's a red
scapegoat.
card. It's right. So he was wrong yesterday, but he was right today.
And here's the second point. Again, Ten Hag has said this after the game. Casemiro played over 500 games in Europe, never once got a red card. Now he has 2 in the Premier League. His absence is not the issue. We will deal with that. The game was influenced, says Ten Hag, by the referee. Now, I've got to say, there were a couple of penalty claims that Manchester United had, a couple of strong ones, in my opinion. I don't think Anthony Taylor is a very good referee, nor does Erik Ten Hag. But what about that point he's making about the adaptation from playing in La Liga to coming into the Premier League? So maybe in La Liga, that type of challenge is perhaps more acceptable. So does Casemiro need to adapt his game accordingly?
That's what do you want to do? Change the rules of the playing styles just because the player played in another country? That for me is such, from a person who, and you like to talk about managers that make excuses. For me, that is such an irrelevant statement, because the Premier League, and you'll argue it's the best Premier League in the world. So he's come into this, therefore it differs. Different places in the world, different officials, different tackles will be different. So, yeah, he didn't get booked, so he's come in here and he's tackling the same way, which is deemed to be red card offences. So, however he's coming to try and say, oh, no, we should look at our officials, even though I'm going to contradict myself, and sometimes we do, but off of that, that's wrong. The tackles are red card offences. It's not like we're here saying, oh, he's unlucky with that one, in the sense where they weren't red card. They were red card offences. So, for me, it's a relevant statement.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, they've turned you off, Ambrose. Probably rightly so. Let's bring in Jaminel, a Manchester United fan who's called 03717 223344. You weren't happy with Anthony Taylor either.
Yeah, hi mate, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, mate?
Yeah, well, basically, it was not Anthony Taylor. It was mainly Andy Mera.
Andre Mariner, the VAR.
Yeah, so So obviously yesterday, you guys, someone on talkSPORT yesterday said that this is the worst, probably one of the worst referees ever after the Chelsea game. 100%. This guy should not be a referee. He should be sacked. I mean, let's put this in this context. Yeah, Anthony Taylor gives Casemiro yellow card. Yeah, and I personally think that it was. He got the ball. Yeah, and he got the ball, but obviously it scraped a little bit in the shin. But it wasn't like when you do it in slow motion, it just makes it look really bad. Yeah, but the point is, Andy Mera is the one that sends Casemiro for Crystal Palace for holding someone's collar, and then he has a shocker game yesterday, so he thinks, okay, let me redeem myself, and then let me have a little word in the ear. And then obviously then Anthony Taylor with slow motion replay. They never do the replay in like where it should be, like, you know, like how the
normal
game is
speed.
played. Yeah, normal speed. Yeah, so it makes them look really, really bad. And on top of that, not give the handball when that cross came in, where the Southampton player dropped to the floor and stopped it with his hand, is like ridiculous. And again, it's Andrew Merrill, you know. So again, he's cost United 2 points against Palace, and he's cost United another 2 points against Southampton. So United played basically against 12 men. Thank you very much.
Jamanil, cheers for the call. I've just shown you guys, Darren Ambrose, Edinburgh Akinfen, with the screenshot, the still shot of the challenge on João Felix yesterday that wasn't punished by a red card. Andre Mariner, the on-pitch referee, Bayo, decides that challenge
He got that wrong.
isn't a red card. 24 hours later, he decides that challenge
he got that right,
from Casemiro
we was
is
talking,
a red card.
We was talking before, and when these situations arise, there's a lot of whataboutery, and that's the situation. What about this one?
24 hours apart.
But it's irrelevant. It doesn't make this one not a red card. That one,
exactly.
he got wrong. That
Yes.
was a red card. He got wrong. If we're talking about that challenge, we'd say you got that wrong. That's a red card. It doesn't make this one not because he didn't give that one. This one's still a red card. We got a good tweet in. I was going to mention it, but I'm going to name him. Ryan tweeted in, Casemiro was off the ground, out of control with his studs up. Whether he got the ball or not is irrelevant. It's a red card all day long, and I agree with that.
So why in this day and age, when there's more dark arts, there's more theatrics than ever before, why were the Southampton players so apologetic to Casemiro as he made his way off?
Well, that's, again,
We don't know what
you
they're
don't
saying.
know
It
what
might
they're
look like they're saying that.
Yeah.
They're hugging him. They're probably saying, get off the pitch. We need the points.
Look, Crookie, regardless of what, it's a soft spot for you because it's United, and we know that, right?
No, but Ten Hag's right.
No, but
the only thing
he's not
consistent
right.
about our officials is the inconsistency.
Fair enough. So that's right. But yet still, what you're now doing, you're trying to make two wrongs make a right. Yesterday was a wrong, today was a right. And that's what it is. And when you do...
He should have been taken off the game, Andre Mariner. If you make that kind of error 24 hours before,
Again,
why are you in the VAR room
it
24
doesn't
hours
make this one
later?
not a
the
red card.
fact that it was
You're
a
right,
red card.
you're right,
Everything
he should
you're
have.
saying, you can be frustrated and you can turn around and say, look, he's not good enough, X, Y, and Z, and nobody's saying that you can't be frustrated. And you're stipulating points which are like, yeah, we get it. But at the bottom line is, it still was a red card. And what happens is, when something happens, they've got the powers that be that they'll talk and they'll assess the games and they'll say, you know what, got that wrong. I think you could have got that right. I think you was a bit lenient. Tell me why you let that go. So maybe they had the conversations within that. So then therefore he's a product of his experience. He's a product of his environment. The next day he's thinking, well, this was in my ear. They said maybe I was a bit more loose on that. Look, I'm going to be even more stringent on that. It don't make it right because it's inconsistency.
And you were the victims of a poor decision yesterday.
Yes, that's all that is.
You become the
It wasn't a poor
victims.
decision today. You was just a decision of a poor decision yesterday. I like the way you put that. Say no.
Let us know, Manchester United fans, did Casemiro deserve a red card? Does he need to channel
Not just
that
Manchester United
aggression?
fans as well, because a lot of those will call up, same as you, and say
point.
it's harsh. Let's hear off other fans, see
Yeah.
if they think. I want to hear another fan say it wasn't.
Okay.